Blessings and welcome. I am Tuesday May Thomas, and this is your weekly tarot energy forecast for October 26th through November 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do it. Let's do it. October 26th through November 5th of 2018. And how are you doing? We've been having just such magnificent expansion, such invitations to divine ascension in this community. And I'm so grateful. Thank you for all of the new subscribers. And you know, when you send me a little email and let me know that these videos are working, that they're working with you, that they're working for you, that you're working with them, and that it's having a really powerful, positive impact on your life, that makes me feel so good. But besides just making me feel good, that's what I'm here to do. And so thank you for your confirmation on that when you let me know. You know, sometimes you say it in the comment box, and sometimes you send me a personal email. And so thank you for that. I truly, truly appreciate receiving your divine reflection. So thank you so much. And all of the new subscribers, I'm so very grateful. Thank you for joining. I pray and I affirm as always that everything I share here fully, totally, truly supports your path of spiritual growth and spiritual sovereignty. So we're going to go ahead and have a look ahead. As you know, I use the Osho Zen Tarot, and we've been beginning with one card from the Voyager deck to give us a sense of an overview, a sense of where we're going in this next period. I call it weekly, but I know often my weeks have anywhere from 8 to 10 or 11 days in them. Thank you for rolling with me with that. I just do what I'm told, you know, whatever the divine guidance is. I'm like, okay, so this week we're going to have 10 days. Oh, this week we're going to have 8 days. It's just whatever it is. So thank you for being flexible with it all. Let's go ahead and take a moment and take a deep breath in, a deep breath out. We'll call in our angels and guides, and a card already flew out. We're going to use it. What is it? Looks kind of heavy-bevy. What is it about? Oppression. Oppression. 5 of Wands. Well, let's have a look here. Okay, you know what I gotta say, and there's a card, we have not done this yet. The card that was facing up when I put the deck down, though, is the 3 of Worlds. Nurturing. Let's have a look. Oppression, 5 of Wands. I love using this deck, as you know, or maybe this is new. James Wanless, the Voyager Tarot, and this is just the mini book. For years, I had this whole thing and the larger book, and of course, I gave it away when I went on my travels. One of my travels, and it was just calling me, and I had to like go ahead and buy it again and use it. And I'm so grateful to be guided to share it with you. So let's have a look at this. Oppression. Nets, fences, shackles, manacles, traps, and knots are wands of oppression. Behind bars, you are not seeing clearly and fully, and you are opposed by your own misconception. Pardon me, you are opposed by your own misperception. Like the extinguished candlelight and the eclipsed sun, you are in the dark, unaware and unseeing. Perceptual blocks imprison your mind, freeze your emotions, shackle your body, and handcuff your activities. Trapped, your spirit begins to crack and decay. You need to see yourself and your situation in a new light. Open and free your mind from your narrow, limited viewpoint and from negativity. Look through other doorways. Do not despair. You cannot know freedom except through experiencing bondage. Now, isn't that interesting? And there's another aspect to this about the oppression being almost in alignment with that aspect that we spoke about earlier with the control, where it's one thing to use the quality and the power of control to harness your own energy, to learn how to harness the wild horses of your mind, so to speak, and keep yourself centered and aligned. Yet it's another thing to try to control the world and everyone and around you, right? And so like that, we can harness our abilities to use those qualities of oppression that maybe we've learned or that we're learning to help to serve us in a way, to strengthen that ability, that willpower. Yet also there's this aspect that there's something really deeply holding us back and that we're in the black. And you know what, I'm going to speak on that in a moment. But first, we're going to go ahead and read the 3 of Worlds. We have never done this before, by the way, so this is kind of exciting that we have 2 overview cards that are seeking to be seen. And look at all this beautiful fruit. This reminds me of our ripeness card in our Osho Zen Tarot. Three of Worlds, nurturing. The mother elephant and mother bird with their babies represents the nurturing of young life into fruition and flower. Summer symbolizes the taking care of your spring births and beginnings. Nurturing calls for Venus's tender loving care, as well as protective tree-like mothering. Like the elephant with its trunk, like the elephant with its trunk, lend a supportive hand. The rancher's hand and Saturn symbolize the persistent and patient tending to business and responsibility necessary for successful nurturing. The harvest is close by. Keep going. Take the extra step to ensure success. Now, isn't that interesting? And you know, now that we're reading that, I realize we did have that card not too long ago, the nurturing card. And what I'm getting that it's speaking to already, and specific, just keeping our focus on the oppression card, is what's happened to me in this last week is that like a chunk is falling off of a chunk of tar, a chunk of resistance, of old caked in, baked in, eroded, just funk, resistance to love. At the back of my heart chakra, it's like pain. It's this pain, and I don't usually have pain, yet this pain I've had before, and it reminds me of a certain point in my life. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Let me pay attention. What's going on here? And when I meditated on it, it's like there's this cork. And when I teach Reiki, I talk about this sometimes. There's this cork I feel that I've placed there as a safety net in the back of that heart chakra, where there's a lot of stuff. Just we can hide it. We can push it in the back, and there's like this cork in there. And all that cork is symbolizing is the withholding of love, of just, it's like one area, one other little nook and cranny where the love just isn't allowed. As myself and Will, we were not debating this, but we were talking about this because Marianne Williamson says, blast it with love. Our Course in Miracles teacher says, pour love all over it, you know. And then Will was saying, spray love. And it's like, we are just love, right? And so we get, if you watch my weekly live stream, 4D Trinity, I run my throat chakra so I may speak and express clearly to all guided to join. And so it is. On that 4D Trinity show, we do and talk about everything spiritual, metaphysical, multidimensional, alchemy, everything in that realm. And often our talk has to do with understanding the metaphysics of our energetic being. And so there's this aspect for me with this cork that I've realized that's in the back of this heart chakra of mine that's just, it's ready to go, it's ready to blow. Yet there's also this sense that it's been there for a long time, like lifetimes. And it's like, you know, when you have a splinter or you get a nail, I've stepped on a nail in the past, you know, in the heel of my foot. If you've done anything weird or funky like that, or if you haven't, you just imagine what that sensation is like. And it's like, it's painful. And even though you want that nail out, you want that cork out, you know that initial, or that like pulling of the Band-Aid off, it's like that initial like, oh, it's going to hurt to take it out, but you know you need to take it out. It's like that story where the lion has that thorn in his paw and he's like, oh, you know, freaking out and he needs help to take it out. And it's like, to take it out, but you really need to take it out. And I feel like it's loosening and it's ready. That cork is ready to pop and just like be released from the back of my bodies, you know, the back of this heart chakra center, so that love can just pour, spray, blast out of me from all of my channels, you know. And as we enlighten and as we self-love and heal our lives, we turn corners and we grow and we mature and we in many different levels of life, but then we also go, oh. And we get to then use all the tools we've garnered, or maybe perhaps be introduced to new tools by which we can heal ourselves to the next level, right? And so whatever's going on here in the back of my body is seeking for healing. And so anyway, working on it, and what I'm seeing when I go within is I see this cork is in there. And it's not a big cork, it's this little cork, and it's got this nice little nestled in, caked in, baked in place that's so deep that I didn't even know it was there until the next petals of my heart chakra started opening. And then it's like, oh, here we got a rusty, clunky one here, you know? And so through the Reiki and through the massage and through all these little things that I'm guided to do with it, it's like loosening the tars that have become caked in, baked in around it, so that that cork can be popped out, can just be released of its own accord for my highest good. So, getting back to why I'm even talking about that is this oppression. Where in your life? And you know, because we're all one, so when I tell you these little stories about what's going on for me, there's chances are there's some kind of a correlation, or it's going to hit some kind of an aha for you in your world. That's the intention. And so where in your life is there these rugs being pulled up, and where you're feeling, you're sensing, you're experiencing these aspects of life that have been oppressed, that have been withheld, these parts of you where you are withholding love. And interesting, in the week that led up to this thing, I did have an experience with a family member and I haven't had that kind of an experience with that family member in probably 20 years. And there was a lot of feeling. And so it moved stuff. It moved stuff in all of my bodies. And so again, I'm inviting you, where in your life is this change, you know, erupting? Are these inner feelings happening? And not because you're a bad person, you know, but because you're doing your work, because you're alchemating, because you're choosing love, because you're exercising your spiritual willpower, which is choosing love over and over and over and over and over again, no matter what it looks like, no matter what the 3D looks like, smells like, tastes like, wants to invite you into any fear-based notions, your ability to rise above it and to practice placing love, blast love, pour love, spray love. We were even doing this joke of a hashtag, blast, spray, pour, like eat, pray, love. Anyway, just placing love. And I'm going to be talking about that on this week's 4D Trinity, which is on Thursday, which I think might be the same day that this comes out. I don't know, because I'm recording this a few days early. We're going to be talking about those spiritual disciplines that help you stay in tune and aligned with your master, with your inner alchemist, with your inner priestess and priest, with your higher self. So, with that oppression, something's ready to go. Something's ready, those shackles, right? Those corks that have been plugged in, those caked in, baked in areas of unforgiveness. If you've been attuned with Reiki recently, if you've been doing more exercise even, or just changing your diet in a slightly different way, you're not, you know, you're doing gluten-free now, these things add up. And they make changes not only in the physical or the energy or the mind or the emotional body, but one affects the other. They really are all the same thing. But we have little separated layers that we get to learn to heal individually, so that ultimately all those bodies come back into being one again. I digress, but I don't really. You know me here. We go around, we come back around, we go around. If you would like a private reading, you can contact me. My email is down below, or go to my website, tuesdaymaythomas.com/tarot, and I have a tarot page where you can check out my rates, but also I do a special 30 for 30, and when you do a written review of one of my books. So blessings and thank you, everyone. All of my info is down in the Show More box, my Instagram, my website, my books. I've got a couple free books that you can download from iBooks and Kindle. And I also have some books that you can purchase on Kindle and Amazon. The Osho Zen Tarot. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Calling in our angels, our divine guides. We are so very grateful for your presence. Thank you for blessing us. We already had a chunk fall out here. I'm going to put them down. Thank you so very much for blessing us, for holding space for our just greatest awareness of love and light, for our greatest awareness of the presence of love and light in us. The power of our tongue, the power of our vision, the power of our word, and all of the light language, all of the light sight, all of the beautiful light ways that you support us and surround us. We thank you, we thank you, we thank you. So we had these, we had this, and then there's more that fell down too. And so we'll, so we'll get started and then we'll take it from there. Okay, this oppression, it's talking to us on this top row. The rebel's back in town. Ooh, and right next to control. That rebel's going to just be snapping control out of it. And isn't this, of course, we have these reruns. You know, sometimes when there's a theme and there's something, oh, existence just flew off the table. And there's a theme and there's something that's really working on us, collectively, working on us. All those that are guided to join this reading and receive from it, there's always the story, right, that we work with. There's this ongoing theme that we've been working with. And so right away on the top row, what's really beautiful is we have either side. On the top row, we have existence and creativity. These are two major arcanas. And they speak to being a channel, being a conduit. Even if you're not arty, you know, you're not a painter or a drawer, is that even the word? If you are not a writer or a dancer, or you're not playing an instrument of such, you are the instrument. You are the instrument. And there are divine songs. There are divine landscapes. There are divine visions questing to be birthed through you, through your words, through your hands, through your body, through your imagination. And so even if you don't feel like a creative, we all are. And this card speaks to us tapping that creative veil this week. From October 26th through November 5th. Really tapping that creative veil. And allowing ourselves to be playful and to, on a whim, allow yourself to be inspired and act on that inspiration. Acting on it, right? And this has been a theme of late because there's been a lot of students that somehow this conversation keeps coming back where they say, oh, well, I know that teaching off by heart. Or I could repeat it with my eyes closed. It's one thing to know something off by heart, and it's another thing to live it. And that's the difference, right? And it's almost to this point of that you can learn all of the Yoga Sutras. And sure, there will be a mystical nurturing that your body, your mind, your emotions will receive from placing yourself in the presence of those teachings, say. This is just an example. Yet it's a whole other thing to go out into the world and to just pick one and to practice it, to begin to truly embody that aspect in your life. And this is where we're getting to with this creativity is, again, there's this notion of getting out of the way and of allowing ourselves to be a conduit, to be a channel for the most high love, for the most divine presence of creation to move through you. So maybe it's the way that you draw up a contract. Maybe it's the way that you write notes for a presentation. Maybe it's the way that you take notes from your teacher. You know, there's so many ways to be creative. And what we're being reminded of this morning, isn't that interesting? I'm a little all over the place tonight, but in a very good way, I promise you. Where we're going with this, though, is this existence, right? When we get out of the way and we allow ourselves to be inspired and we move on that inspiration, we trust that inspiration, we start to move out of the confines of the grid matrix, of what we call here the third dimension, of the world as we've been taught to know it. The world as we've been taught to know it is based on guilt. Look at her, the poor thing. Ah! Right? And isolation. It's all mind, and both of these cards have that silver, have that gray in the diamond, which represents the mind. This is all stuff in the mind. And again, this resonates to our oppression card of what's ready to blow? What's ready to go? You know? And so looking at these two, guilt and isolation are all in the mind. We keep ourselves limited and compartmentalized in a seeming safety, in a seeming safe place that is built upon those shackles and those chains and all of those prohibitions that had at once perhaps served us in feeling safe and feeling that we know what's going on. Yet as we become enlightened, what we start to realize is these chains have got to change. And as we start to break through, just like my cork in the back of this heart chakra, you know, it's like it's starting to, the grime and the funk, it's like an old jar of something, and you're like, oh, I can't get, you know, you're putting it under the hot water, you're trying to lift the thing, and it's just like caked in, baked in. And that's what this is talking about, is it's like, what's caked in, baked in, that's ready for you to start crying, that's ready for you to start Epsom salt bathing, that's ready for you to start like praying over, giving to Holy Spirit, putting it on the altar to be altered. What's ready? What guilt and shame are you carrying that are ready to be alchemated, that is just stuff in your mind? And look, up above, we have the jasmine flowers and the crown chakra colors. We have these beautiful violets and whites. And the grounding of this green in the heart chakra that's up in that God consciousness level. If we don't get over this guilt, this shame, this blame, how are we ever going to have this experience of divine creation and creativity pouring through? And really what this creativity speaks to is just being that divine channel and conduit for the highest good. You know, where would you have me go? Holy Spirit, God, Goddess, Buddha, highest love and light of this universe, you know, use me. Use my body, use my tongue, use my hands, use my words, use my creativity, and show me. You know, often, I've said this before, I'm an author, and what I've realized over the years is that each book is its own, it's like having kids. Each book is like its own personality, is its own entity. And while I can have big plans about where I think each book should go and who we need to contact and who we need to call and what publisher and all that, the books each have their own instruction manual that they come with. Yet unless I was quiet and still enough and opening consciously enough to receive those downloads of where to go, what to do, and how to serve each child, each creative project, I'd be trying to do things in that 3D way, in a way that makes sense in the world, in the way that we're told that things have to happen in order to happen. Whether you're an actor, whether you're a singer, whether you're a landscaper, whether you're an architect, whether you're a whatever it is, the world has a certain formula for you need to go to college or you need to do this, you need to jump through certain hoops to get from A to B. Yet we know when we reach a certain level, a certain altitude in the NOWOSPHERE, what we realize is it's like, oh yeah, well, there's more than one way to do things, and we don't have to judge that way, that's one way. Yet there's also a way of just being that vibrationally, garnering vibration power, and allowing for the highest good, those qualities, those aspects, those opportunities to meet you and find you in their divine timing. And maybe that's a part of the oppression that's being released, is the stories that we've been told, you know, by the media, by schools, by family, by cultures, traditions, and religions, that can be that can make a lot of sense in the world, though. You know, you need a good credit score if you're going to get the car and get the mortgage. Well, what if you don't care about the credit score and getting the house, and you're like, you're the last thing you want is a mortgage and paying for taxes, and like, it's not everybody's dream. And so where is the dream breaking for you? Where are you saying like, oh my God, I feel so bad because my parents want to, you know, put up all the money for the house that I thought I wanted, but I don't really want all that stuff, and now I feel guilty, and how do I say no to that? Because I really just want to go barefoot, live in Italy, and drink wine, and like draw art with chalk on the street. And that's what my heart says, but I feel so guilty. I can't tell my parents because they've already poured all this money into me helping me get this loan from the bank. You know, there's these stories. And that's why we are invited to right now start to live your true authentic self. And if you don't know what that is, meditate. Begin your meditation practice. Begin being still and silent so that you can hear your higher self, so you can hear the voice for God, so you can hear that divine spark within you that's saying, here I am. This is your breadcrumb trail. I know exactly where to show you to go if you can just hear me, if you just take a moment to tune in and listen. And so often when there is that disembarking from the wheels of how we've been doing things for so long, Sure, there could be some tears. And I've been a teacher, healer, this and that, Reiki, author, speaker, all these things for almost 20 years now. And I still got a cork in my heart chakra in the back that I didn't even know about, Like, this is what we come here to do. So don't be hard on yourself. We come here to this world to forget and to remember. To forget that love is the truth, and then to remember that love is the truth all over again. So no matter what you're going through, what healing crisis or opportunities you're having with your body mind, know that it can change for the highest good, and that these teachings are just here bringing us closer to love. Wherever there's a block, wherever there's resistance, wherever you bump into a cork in your aura, where you're like, oh, this stuff is old. I'm ready to pull that cork out, but that cork's like, it's like you got to be ready to pull that Band-Aid out. Also, follow your divine guidance. Like for me, it's saying, yeah, don't pull it out yet. Because there's that thing of if you pull the scab off before it's healed underneath, you got to just re-scab and just go through it again. And that's what I feel with the cork. It's it's not one of those shamanic thing where we're just going to get in there and pull that. No. This is it's doing its thing. And as the caked in, baked in tars that are encrusted around it, holding that funky cork in there, as they gently dissolve in the presence of love and in the Reiki that I'm doing and all the stuff I'm guided to do there, it's for now. I don't know what'll be guided later tonight or tomorrow, but for now, it's just allowing the process. And actually, there's a lot that is being revealed through it. We're going to be talking about Atlantis soon. I'm getting a lot of downloads about that. So we'll come back to that. But let's go ahead and move to the second row, the middle row. This is just so beautiful because we have these heavy hitters. And again, 2 major arcanas. What? We got the Rebel right in the middle. And who's next to the Rebel is Control. And control. We have been unraveling this control. Maybe that's what's in my back. Yes. Anytime we withhold love, we're trying to control love. We can't control love. Love just is. Okay. But we know this, and the Rebel is totally this oppression card. Because the oppression is breaking those chains, all those things that are oppressing you, right? All those things that are holding you back, that are causing you to feel isolated, that you're holding in, that you're not feeling that you can fully express. The Rebel energy comes in there and is poof! Just breaks all of that stuff out of the way, all that crusted, caked in, baked in stuff, and it just busts through. This is the card again. Remember we talked about this before, where Jesus just comes in and is I'm just throwing these tables over. Sometimes that happens in that way for the energies to rise and to align. Sometimes it's gentle, and it's just like a little fairy dust sprinkling, a gentle, nice little Reiki session, and you're oh, I feel totally calibrated. And sometimes, I'll speak for myself, you get into a car accident and your shit gets fucked up for some time. This was in the past. It's on the past, in a bubble of light. But that is of service because it brings you through the pain into the power. Especially if you work with the energy, you learn to alchemate the fear into love. And so that's what we're always doing. And especially this control card. And again, it's a card of the silver. Look at the gray and the diamond. It's all in the mind. All the things that we think we need to control are actually, we talked about this a little bit last week. It's creating this illusion of stress on your central nervous system that feeds all of the other systems in your body. And so you end up running on fight or flight, on the sympathetic nervous system. Where we're going, when we meditate, when we love ourselves, when we open ourselves as a conduit, as a channel for the most high love and light, where we end up going is into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest, which is your body coming back to a sense of homeostasis, coming back to a sense of, oh, I can relax. All these body systems can sort of be reset. But sometimes the rebel needs to come in there, that rebel energy, and just kind of boom! Shake things up a little bit. And so this is happening for us. And you know what I feel that it is? Someone or something or some situation is going to do that for the highest good. And I pray and I affirm that Everything is all for the highest good here. I am not projecting any harm onto any being or anything ever at all. But it does feel like the rebel energy, and it could be your own higher self, would just be like, you know what, child, and just give you like a little like kick, you know, I mean, and I mean this energetically and for the highest good, but like a little kick up your booty and just be like, come on, step up now. Step up. How long are you going to keep holding onto those chains? How long are you going to keep holding your tongue when you know there's a truth inside of you that's ready to be shared? How long are you going to try to hide that light? How long are you going to suppress? How long are you going to oppress your truth? Are you going to try to control it? How long are you going to try to like hold in all that anger when you really just need to go out to the ocean or up to the mountain and just like shout it out, stomp your feet, write an energy letter, you know, like get things out, because that control and this control and the guilt and the isolation, this is all like suppressed feelings and emotions. This is all that oppression. This is all, look at those hands. They're like, let me out. Look at all the chains and the handcuffs and the thing. It's just like, ugh. And look at, he's like bound, but his eyeball is right, his eyes, he's looking. He's like, how do I get out of here? How do you get out of there? Well, that's a good question. If you're asking that question, then you're on the right path. Ask your higher self, how do I get out of here? And see what guidance comes. And remember, meditate, meditate, meditate. We are a community here of meditators. And I know it's getting dark here, the lighting is changing. We are a community of meditators, and the value of cultivating that daily practice to be still, to breathe, to ground, to connect to your wisdom self, to your heart, to the truth in your heart, and to the truth of love is so very vital to your well-being and to your peace, that you can live in peace on a daily basis. And sure, there might be little bumps along the road. We're still learning. Yet the tipping point shifts and we begin to live more and more in this peaceful existence realm, what we call here 4D consciousness, the consciousness of the one heart. And then we become that channel, that conduit for love. And everything we create and everything we do and manifest is of that love. And we no longer have to turn tables over, but initially we might have to just get those darn chains, to sweep those cobwebs, to, if you're guided, to pull your cork or pull that nail out of that foot or whatever it might be. That's like, on one hand, it's been hidden, right? But the rebel's here, and the rebel's here to help me, and the rebel's here to help you, to break those chains, to pull those corks, you know, to pop those plugs, to cleanse, to clear, so that we can come into our sovereignty, into our freedom, into the truth of us. And yes, here we go. Oh my goodness, here we go. Are you ready? Another Kundalini burst. If you go back, you know, for all these months, that's like all we've been doing is bubbling. We've been learning to hold greater and greater levels of life force energy within ourselves. We've been learning to be conduits for love, for the love of this entire universe. And we've been detoxing, we've been practicing being mindful of our word, we're practicing being a master of our time and space. It's really getting dark in here. I feel like it's like, well, this will be on during Halloween too, right? Should I put a light on? What's going on? But this is our thunderbolt, right? And this is like the Tower card in the normal tarot, in the Rider-Waite tarot. And look at these people just fleeing from the chakras. The chakras are on fire, the electrical storm. All we've been doing, though, if we've been gently detoxing, and as we've been, you know, doing our work to practice love, to practice forgiveness, to extend love, to say our prayers, to be kind, you know, to all those little things, they add up so magnificently and so powerfully that we're constantly tending to the body-mind continuum, so that as there's more and more of these Kundalini activations within us through our DNA, it becomes easier. What once might have taken us down in the storm doesn't have to be that anymore. Yet, depending to the level of how much stuff there is that has been oppressed and hidden, right? It might be a big boom. It might be like an electrical storm within you, and woo! I mean, we've talked about those before. Very powerful, those Kundalini experiences. But they don't, and they're always powerful, but they don't have to set you back. They can nurture you. And that's what we're doing, is we're learning how to hold love. We're learning how to be love, to embody love, to speak love, to live love, my friends, right? In this 4D consciousness. And because it's so absolutely different to what we're taught in the world. It's so different from the fear-based, the love versus fear, the binary notions that we're taught in this world. Yeah, there's this notion of like breaking the chains of what you've been taught in the world, of what you think. And then it's like when someone takes LSD or ayahuasca for the first time, which they're totally two different medicines, and I'm not comparing them, but I'm just metaphorically them. Sometimes when someone has like a very deep, experience in that way, in a ceremonial way, you have the big baboom, because everything that you thought you knew about everything is not what it was, is not what it seems. You've seen through the veil, you've seen beyond, you've seen more, and it breaks your chains, just like it's gonna pop my cork. Thank you, Kundalini, for popping my cork. So, participation. Again, this is a card of fire. So this speaks to your disciplines this week, or at least from October 26th, specifically to November 5th of 2018. Your disciplines, and this is speaking to community. If it's one person, if it's a group of people, do you have Reiki brothers and sisters? Can you get together maybe over this next period of time and do like a little Reiki share? Do you have brothers and sisters, friends or family that you can get together and meditate? Are there ways that you can gather? And sometimes it's just as simple as like gathering for tea and sharing your visions, sharing your downloads, your divine downloads of what you've been getting. But participate. This is definitely this timeline, October 26th through November 5th. This is a time to share. Like I'm talking about Atlantis, I'm getting ready to share with you guys soon about what I'm getting about that. And what's happening before I'm ready to share in a larger way is this more intimate share, where these downloads that I'm getting, I'm trusting my guidance in who I'm supposed to share certain parts of the information with. And as I trust that guidance and I share, well, the most amazing thing that's happening is that those people are coming back and they're responding in positive ways, as if they know they're a part of the puzzle. And that's where things really start to get mythic and very trippy and powerful as the light gets even darker. Oh my gosh, this is so, I don't think romantic is the right word. It's just kind of trippy. Oh my gosh. Okay, at least that's a very, very different scene. So to finish off, we have abundance, compromise, and healing. These are both earth cards, and we know our abundance friend very well. We know that abundance, this card represents the divine masculine, the divine feminine, perfectly balanced in harmony. The book represents us knowing thyself. And there's this new resonance that's coming through that's speaking about knowing thy divine self. So yes, know thyself, and then it's almost like the next corner. I like this term, right? I've been using it a lot. Like we turn the next corner, is this knowing thyself divine. Knowing thyself divine. Now he certainly looks like he knows thyself divine. Totally in tune with the solar and the lunar energies. Fully taken care of, relaxed, he's reclined. He's in a feminine, receptive, magnetic frequency. He already knows that everything is taken care of, that everything is provided for. And you know how he knows that? He knows because he trusts, and he knows because he meditates, and he knows because he listens. He listens to his divine guidance, to his higher self, because he meditates. Because he meditates. With this healing, our last two cards, healing and compromise. So, there's this aspect of giving something away to receive something. And take my little cork plug, right, in the back of the heart chakra here. I get to give that plug away and all that it represents, meaning fear, meaning feeling unsafe if I really let that much love shine through. And even if you already feel like a love bug, like I totally already feel like I'm a lover, not a fighter, like I'm a total love bug, yet there's always more love. There's always more room for more love. There's just always more love. And so it's like, oh, here's this other little nook and cranny area that's ready poof, to be cleansed, so love can just shine through. And in order for that to happen, I'm going to have to compromise. I'm going to have to be like, okay, I'm going to let go of this fear in exchange for this healing. Because I know and I trust that there's this wisdom that's speaking to me, that's divinely guiding all this. So I'm going to choose to let go, to cut those cords, to release guilt, to let go of control, to start thinking and speaking over my life and in my worlds in ways that support me being supported, having enough time, having enough resources, having enough support from all people, places, and things. And that's going to melt some of that ice that has the potential to move energy in you. And all it's really doing is removing the clouds so that the truth can be revealed. And the truth is that you are love. And I am love, and love is the truth. And we always come back to that. And it's so beautiful. So thank you so much, everyone. I'm so grateful for all of your time and your attention. I pray and I affirm as always that everything I share here in every single video truly serves your path of spiritual growth and sovereignty. I'm so grateful for all of the new subscribers. Again, if you'd like to book a private tarot reading, down below is my email. I also facilitate spiritual counseling, long distance on the phone. My books, all of my links, follow me on Instagram, follow me, subscribe at my website, tuesdaymaythomas.com, and you'll receive my monthly love letter. I just sent out the October love letter. I'm so very grateful for this community. Blessings with so much love. Namaste.